This time I've got a SONY VO5800 pneumatic deck. I've got no picture on playback. It could be something simple, it could be heads clogged. I think it probably is, but it's also having problems ejecting certain tapes. So we're going to take the top off this one and see what's giving this one trouble and why it's eating the tape, because the tape is left hanging out of the end of the cassette. So is it a tape problem or is it a machine problem? Let's check it out. This is a SONY VO5800. It's developed a bit of a problem. It doesn't play. Well, yeah, no picture. Probably dirty heads, you know, from bad tapes. Let's take a look. So top off the machine. We access the scanner. We can see the tape transport. Now, this one's also been known to eat tapes. Okay, so it just shut down. It detected the end of the tape, it rolled forward, but then it wound back again. And it's got the leader here now exposed. Normally it should pull this tape back. So what's going to happen when I hit eject is it's likely to eat the tape a bit. Well, it didn't this time. Sometimes it leaves a little bit of tape sticking out of the end here. Let's clean the heads first. Just got my standard piece of paper soaked with alcohol. We're going to hold it up against the head drum. And we're going to turn this one, because it's a 3/4 inch, we're going to turn the drum clockwise. That's a very old unit. It's got lots of hours on it. See if it plays now. It still doesn't address the problem with it, with the unloading problem. Okay, I've got a picture now. Not a very good picture. It's pretty bad, actually. Even the tracking doesn't seem to do much. I think this was probably recorded in 1994, 1995, somewhere in there. That's when that channel was around. It was on C-band on satellite. I recorded it off of my C-band dish. And that was back when I was playing around with still 3/4 inch equipment. These were some old tapes that were given to me that came from the old cable TV station. And I had a bunch of them given to me, and they were worn out at the time, so I wasn't using them for production. I was just throwing stuff on there just for the sake of throwing stuff on them. Now some of this noise might be coming from the plasma sitting next to it. I'll put the cover on it to see whether it goes away. It's certainly not playing this tape very well. This is an extremely old tape, though. It was recorded off of a satellite feed years ago onto 3/4 inch. And it's an old recording of Charlie Bird playing. And I'm sure he's been dead for years, so it gives you an idea how old this recording is. It was recorded off a channel called Bet on Jazz, which was the cable jazz station. I'm sure has not been on the air for years, but it used to be one that was available on satellite, on the old C-band satellite. The RF level on this tape is extremely low, and no amount of tweaking the tracking seems to get that picture much better. Although the last time this tape was played, it was playing okay. Now, it could be a combination of things. This machine itself probably just about worn out. I should try this tape on my other 3/4, my much newer machine, and see how it plays on it. But the concern with the tape sticking out when it was rewound, that was the biggest concern here, was when the tape was rewound. The tape was left sticking out. Let's just try that rewind cycle again and see what it does. I'm going to watch it here. and then it just stops, shuts down at this point. And the only thing it'll do, like this should advance forward, but it's not. Try different tape. This is another very old tape that I recorded years ago, but it's probably newer than this one. Oh, the heads are clogged again. Fingernail trick. Yeah, this one's playing okay. The signal level has dropped down so low from it just sitting around and being a very old tape. It was one that came from Rogers like years and years ago. It has a big X on it, which means they threw it out. Vancouver Channel 10. It says leader is spliced. Maybe that's why it's jamming. But yeah, this was one that is very, very, very old. This was back, well, it said Vancouver Channel 10, and that would have been before they were bought out by Rogers, and then Rogers took over for a number of years, and then they sold it to Shaw, and now Rogers has bought them back. That gives you an idea. This would be early 1980s, this tape. So let's just see what it does on this one when I rewind. We'll see if this one does the same. This one works properly. I wonder what's going on with the other one. Why the other one doesn't. I'll grab my other camera. We'll just take a look at what's going on. It might be the tape. I'm sure it's the tape that's causing it. So this is the tape that's problematic. When I'll just forward it a bit here. Rewind. You'll see it rewinds. And it does that. It jams. That is that's weird. It's not supposed to do that. Now it might be something on the tape that's doing it. I mean, it's optical sensors. Is the leader too long? I don't know what's going on here. But it uses an optical sensor, and it's able to see both of these are picking up the leader. Like the tape plays right to left, so this is the end sensor and this is the beginning sensor, right? So when you're rewinding, this is the sensor that stops it. But for some reason it's not stopping it. We'll just eject. And the tape's not damaged. Let me grab that other tape and show you the difference, what's happening with it. So here's the other tape that is working. If I fast forward a bit, and then go into rewind, it rewinds back. Goes forward and stops. Which is what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to do that. And then I go back to this other tape. And well, this is what's happening on this tape. If I go forward a bit, and then go back, it rewinds back. It's like it doesn't stop. And then it locks out. Bizarre. And this time it snagged the tape. This is what it does. But it only does it on this. Well, it's doing it on this tape. I haven't seen it do it on others. It did it on this one. That is weird. I'll try it again and see why it's. See, it rewinds. It stops correctly. Now this time, it worked right on this tape. This is the tape that it just stuck. Hit rewind. So what the hell? I wonder if the maybe it's the optical sensors. But this time again, it snagged the tape again, you see. I wonder if the optical sensors in here, the little LEDs, are dirty and there's dust on them or something, and they're just not quite being read correctly, because that's how it determines whether it's at the end of the tape. Is the light shines between the tape. The tape is pulled in between the photo sensor on the top and the LED on the bottom. And the tape goes through here. When the light gets broken, it knows that it's running through the tape. But when the clear leader is present, or the opaque leader, it sees light. I wonder if the optical sensors are a bit dirty. Let's try cleaning them. The LED sensors are only on when the tape is threaded. But what they do is they shine onto the tape here, and there's sensors directly above it. So the tape is actually in between the LED and the tape detector. So I'm wondering if maybe there's some dust. I don't think we have to worry about dust being on the other one because it's facing down, but this is the emitter. So the other one is down here on this side. And it is, where is it? It's down here. And the tape is pulled up. The sensor for that one is in behind here. It's in behind here. And there's also incandescent bulbs in here too, so you can see the tape inside the machine. The older machines used to actually use incandescent bulbs in here for the tape sensors, and they would burn out eventually. Still. I wonder if it's because the leader is shorter. Maybe it's wanting to see the leader hit this one as well before going forward. I don't know. Let's just take a look at the other tape again. This is weird. The way this thing's operating is weird. I'll probably chew my tape again. Maybe not. Oh yeah, of course. Of course it leaves that loop of tape hanging out there. We'll observe this other one. No, you see? This one's fine. This one's fine. So what the heck is going on with that other one? That is so strange that it only does it on that one tape. The one tape that had a spliced leader. And this one doesn't eat the tape. Isn't that weird? It's got to be a tape problem. Now, I didn't splice this. This tape was spliced long before I got it. This was given to me years ago. I think it was spliced back at the cable company because they used the actual proper metallic splice when they did it. But you can see that the tape itself has been cut into quite a bit here. I wonder if maybe that's why it's not detecting, is this cutaway here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim this back a bit, just for the hell of it. Trim this back and see whether redoing this splice and not having a big gap there will change anything. We'll just cut this off here. Actually, we'll cut it back a bit more, and we'll cut the tape back here a bit, and I'll just splice this with some Scotch tape. Okay, I got some Scotch tape on here. We'll try that. Yes, I will trim this off, but I won't cut into the tape itself. I'll just try to trim off just this little bit here on the edge here without actually cutting into the tape. Like that. Fast forward a bit. Rewind. What the hell? Okay. It's still doing the same thing. It shouldn't do that. It should... Well, you see what it does on the other one. That is weird. Well, it didn't chew the tape this time, but yeah, it's... I don't know what's up with this tape. But it doesn't like it, that's for sure. This is another Sony KCA 30, I think. Yeah, this is a KCA 30. The other one was a 60, but that shouldn't make any difference. That is, that's weird. Watch what happens on here when it rewinds. Watch the leader, it'll come all the way back to here. Right? And then it goes forward and stops. I wonder, maybe the leader's shortened, because it did say leader spliced on it, and that's the way I got it. So maybe that's why. Maybe the leader's a little bit too short, and it's not reaching this other sensor on rewind. We'll go fast forward, and then rewind. And of course, this time it's going to do the job. We'll go forward a bit. Now it's going to work. Okay, now it does it again. You see the leader ends here. I wonder if that's the fault. And of course it grabs the tape again. Anyway, whenever you're working with this old media, look at all the dropouts on this tape. This is just atrocious. This is how these tapes are getting. These tapes are getting really, really bad. Just from just the age. Like, some of the ones that I recorded later on are playing fine, but and the newer tapes play just fine. I recorded some stuff on my VO5800, and it plays perfect on newer tapes, but this old media is yeah, it's in pretty sad shape, and you pretty much always have to have the top off these machines to clean them, because it seems like every other tape you put through is going to clog the heads. It's either it's got sticky shed or it's going to clog the heads. These tapes here haven't got sticky shed. The Ampex tapes certainly did. The Sony tapes have been okay. The Kodak tapes have been fine, but the Ampex tapes were a lot of problems. But I mean, they're showing their age with dropout city. This tape that I'm playing now would have been recorded on an old Panasonic NV. I think it was an NV 9800 actually, was the machine that made the recording. Top loader. I've got it in my other storage facility. I don't even know if it works anymore. I don't know if I could lift it so heavy. Not that these ones aren't light or aren't heavy, but that the old one was just ridiculously heavy. But this one appears to be playing okay. That tape has got still got tons and tons of dropouts on it. The signal level's okay, but it's got tons and tons and tons of dropouts. And this is an old machine here, so I don't really want to put real good tapes into this machine, just because this machine it's cobbed together, but works still. I don't use this one though for transferring. I use this more for looking at tapes of unknown origin, see how they look before they go into my other machine when I'm transferring 3/4. And if I've got to do a bake, for example, I'll run them through this machine just to look at them for, evaluate for quality before putting them in my other machine. Because this one's got tons of hours. This video head is probably almost completely done. I mean, this head's probably got 10,000 hours on it. I don't know. I know that the machine it came out of, this is not the original scanner. This is a machine that got given to me because the head was shot, and I sold the client. I had a VP1000 with literally no hours on it. That's just a playback only machine, and they were looking just for playing back some old archive tapes. So I sold them my old VP1000, and then they told me to throw this one out. They said, I'll just keep it. We don't need it. We don't want it back. So, okay. So I had a VP2000 which had tons and tons of hours. I did it when I did the replacement on this. I talked about it, but it had been used for playing back promo tapes at a movie theater, and it had a movie theater that closed, right? But it had like thousands upon thousands of hours. It would have run every day, all day long, playing trailers on the TV sets out in front of the theater. They had some monitors. I think they had 6 monitors. There were 6 theaters, and they had 6 monitors, and they had 6 3/4-inch players, and they just had the promo tapes, and it was just on auto rewind. It would rewind and repeat, just the trailers for the movies that were playing, and they would run all day long, every day. But when the movie theater closed up, they sold all the players off, and a guy I know bought one to use as a player for transferring tapes over, but he could never get it to play to his satisfaction, so he never used it because it just didn't track right. So he gave it to me, and I had the thing sitting up in my storage unit. And when this machine came along that needed a head, this was a flying erase head originally editor, and one of the record play heads was shot. So I swapped the drum. I did not do eccentricity or anything on this thing. I just put the drum in, and because I don't have an eccentricity micrometer to set them up right, but I put the drum in and I got it working, and it's playing fine. And then I gave away the VP2000 for parts with the bad scanner in it, the bad head drum. They came out of this one. So this is kind of, for me, it's like a secondary machine just for evaluating tapes, but I still want it to work properly. And it does record, and it does play, because I've done test recordings on it. And it does record fine, and it does play. But when I started grabbing that tape, and then, well, the head's clogged up again, probably from a bad tape, because I've been running some old tapes through, just looking to see what's on some old tapes that I've got. I've got a bunch of old 3/4 tapes I'm kind of going through to see what's on them. And they were all used tapes when I got them, though. So anyway, it's you see the heads are, looks like the heads are starting to clog up again on here just from this tape playing. I'll just very carefully just put my thumb up against the tape, or my fingernail up against the tape here, and just very, very slowly just scratch, just touch the head. You saw it there on the screen, the top of the screen there. That's me touching. That'll clear off some contamination. But yeah, these old tapes are ready for the bin. In fact, this tape here, this hockey game, the provincial countdown, North Delta, South Delta hockey match, because I made a lot of duplication, like I would duplicate the game a lot, so I output it onto it was shot on Betacam, and I output it onto 3/4 and I edited it. And I made the copies because every player on both of the teams wanted it. I made the copies off this. This was probably one of the last times I used 3/4 as a production format. It was right around that time that I phased it out and went DV for everything. I was still shooting everything analog back then. I was shooting on Betacam and high 8 and editing onto 3/4. And then I got rid of that and went full digital. But check this one out. No mode switches. They're all optical sensors. Those are optical sensors that we see down here. They detect when the loading gear, if I stop the machine, watch the loading gear, or loading ring. You see? You see the end sensors there? When I play it, that's giving it the half load position. And if I eject it completely, it will move back again. Like that. And it does not eat the tape this time. It seems to only do it to that one tape. But these are the sensors down here, so it knows the position. Both the sensors are blocked there. When you put the tape in, that's the half load. It goes to the one sensor passing light and one sensor blocking light, and then that stays in that mode, I think, for all the modes. Fast forward, everything stays in that mode. And rewind. When I go to play, but then you can see the end sensors change. So now it's blocking the first one, the top one, and the light is allowed to pass through the bottom sensor. That's how it knows it's in the play position. So no mode switches on these machines need to be cleaned. It's all done optically. Although the optical sensors can fail, they don't fail very often. They're pretty reliable by comparison to switches. which all the consumer machines tend to use. I think some of the beta machines, they use mechanical switches, not like switches like this that were mechanical, not a rotary encoder. But yeah, all the VHS machines, they all use that rotary or linear encoder switch. It gave us so much trouble. And you know, they could have done it this way and saved themselves lots of issues. In fact, I shouldn't say they could have, because they did. Some of the earliest JVC machines use sensors just like this on the main cam gear. These type of sensors on the main cam gear. And they would give us trouble sometimes. The very earliest of the JVCs did. But even they went to a mechanical switch, because a switch is cheaper than optical sensors, I guess. That's what it boils down to. Anyway, this machine's working okay now, so I'm going to put it back together and we'll say catch you in the next one.